ago in that Dreamtime, with the Balladong people, of the tribe of the Nyoongar people, there was a great explosion as the earth was being formed. Boyagin rock erupted, and out of the ground came the Waggles, the giant rainbow serpents. Their bodies as thick as tree trunks glistened and shimmered a silvery green. Each serpent had a mane of hair and large luminous eyes. And as they slithered their way out of the rocky hill, their haunting cries to the night sky were like the drone of 1,000 frogs.
What'd you bring us up here for?
I brought you boys up here for a very good reason, to show you something. Show you this hill, all the hills and the valleys around here. Because this place has got special significance to me. I was born in this town. My ancestors were born here hundreds of years ago. And what I'm telling you now, boys, is something which they told me years and years ago when I was a small boy. And one of the things that they taught me was all the Dreamtime stories and all the things associated with our law. But one of the things I want to show you now is this hill over here in the distance called Mount Matilda.
What's so special about Uncle?
On that hill called Mount Matilda, you see the trails of the rainbow serpent come over the hill there. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can count them as they come over the hill there. And in these trails, they look like they've been graded, like they've been big tractors or something over there that's flattened them out into huge rocks, big ones. Some of them weigh about 1 and 2 ton in weight, and there's hundreds of them. They've been pushed out to the edge of the roadways, and you can drive trucks over that there, or even cars, 4 abreast, and all the rocks have been pushed to the side. Hundreds of them, just like they've been graded. As the serpents came out when the earth erupted from Boyagin rock, and all the serpents came out, some going south, some going west, some going east, the biggest majority of them came this way. They came along, they formed what we now see as the Aboriginal River, going past Northern and Tujay, and they rested many, many times. And all the old Nyoongar people, they know their resting places, I know their resting places, and they went along here. What this river here is called the Balladong River. The Nyoongar people know it as the Balladong River, not the Aboriginal River. And so it went straight further and further, went into the what we now know as the Swan River, which the Nyoongar people call the Boyagin. Boyagin means winding river. Until eventually the snakes, they went out up the Swan River and they went out into the ocean. And something special happened, boys, on that hill over there, Mount Matilda. During the evening, out of the river came these big snakes, the big Waggles. And as they came up to the hill there, they travelled at night. Only at night they travelled. And they travelled over the first hill, coming over the hill, not just one, but many of them came out over this hill. And they came out, and as they journeyed down the hill, they came to rest in the early hours of the morning, just before sunrise. The early hours of the morning, they settled down the base of the hill. And as they settled down the base of the hill, they rested there because there were huge, big snakes. So at the bottom of the hill, as they all rested there, the Dreamtime spirits came in and saw them all resting at the bottom of the hill, and so they made that place into a swamp where these creatures could rest unseen. So they rested during the daylight hours when the sun was up in the air. They rested in the swamp. And the next day, they came up in the evening rather, late in the evening again. They came out of the swamp, journeying only in the evening. They travelled up over the second hill, coming up over the hill, and then they came down over the hill again and coming down to rest in the third swamp, in the second hill there. And as they rested down the bottom hill because of the big journey they had, in the early hours of the morning, just before sunrise, the sun was coming up, they rested down the bottom of the hill. And all the Dreamtime spirits followed them. And as they rested on the second hill there, they caused this place where they rested on the bottom of the hill to turning it into another swamp to protect to protect these rainbow serpents, or the Waggles, as we call them. The Waggles call them the rainbow serpents. But they protected them by building a big swamp there. That's in the second hill, other side, that one there. So during the daylight hours, they rested in the swamp there. And late in the evening, that night, late in the evenings, they came out of the swamp. Over this hill you see there, Mount Matilda. They're causing that big, as you can see there, they created all that paths there. Many of them came, not just one, but many of these serpents came over that hill there. Many of them pushing aside the rocks as they came, creating that roadway you see bigger and bigger and bigger. Many of them came pushing and jostling maybe as they came over there, slithering over the hill there and down into that swamp you can see at the bottom of the hill there of Mount Matilda. That's why you see those creatures only travel at night time. They travel at night for their own protection because during the day you never see them. And they live in the deep waters, in the rivers and also the swampy areas.
But Uncle, are they dangerous?
No, not really, but they're frightening to look at, but they're sacred to the Nyoongar people.
Why?
Because wherever you find these creatures, these big Waggles, the Nyoongar people believe that that's where you find fresh water.
But Uncle, you say the rainbow serpent grade the rivers.
That's right.
But Uncle, the rivers are all salty.
Not before the Waggles came here. You see, when the Waggles came here, they cleared the land, they cleared all the bush, and when they cleared all the bush and the land, they had all the salt content in the ground from the trees, and so when the rain came, the rain washed them all down into the riverways, and then now the rivers are all salty because of all the salt content in the ground. Because one time ago, years ago, it used to be all fresh water right through to the Swan River. One day when you boys are old enough, I'll show you where these creatures live. But for now, it's enough for you to know that they do exist and they still live in these waterways.